Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Lion's Den After Dark. I'm going to let TikTok in. Hi, TikTok. Welcome to the Lion's Den After Dark. I'm your host, Lauren Lyons, and I'm here to break down Handmaid's Tales, Season 6, episodes 1 through 3. Yes, I know that I'm extremely late. Um, but it's okay. We still have a lot of season to go through and cover. So we'll do that. I pretty much don't have much of a disclaimer because it is not a reality TV, but you know what it is in the Lions Den After Dark. We encourage you to get your drink and let's sip tea and let's get into it and talk about this show. For those who have been watching, which is a lot, a long time, 6 seasons, but I'm pretty sure I've been filming for like 10 years, just about. Um, we're finally getting the season series finale. Thank God. But it's such a great show. Like, it's such a great show. The acting, Elizabeth Moss, that's my girl. I don't know why I have a marker in my hand, but that's my girl. Okay. So I've been a fan of the show. It's definitely one of those more heavier watches, which is part of the reason why I am a little behind. Because I like to take my time and kind of, pace myself because it gets into some very heavy themes. So, um, you know, if there's anyone out there who has not seen it, I just want to let you know because there's a lot that's going on in this series, but it's an amazing story. And honestly, funny enough, it's not even funny enough, but it could actually be some sort of reality, which is scary in itself, right? Um, but it's a great series. Elizabeth Moss is an amazing actress. I love her down. So let's get into it. Okay. Episode 1. There was not a whole lot with episode 1. Um or the first couple of episodes if I'm being completely honest with you. So we're not too I should be able to breathe through these cuz really the season starts getting really good. Episode 3, episode 4. That's when it really kicks off. So I'll start off where we first left off was we were oops, can you guys see that? You guys can't see that. Okay, for those who are not watching from YouTube, we like to show images. All right, here we go. So for those of you who remember last season, we end off the season where June and Luke are trying to leave and go to Alaska to escape because she was just attacked by supporters of Gilead. So she at this point with her baby, who the baby daddy is not Luke, it is who is the baby daddy? Oh, it is. Wait a minute, my bad. It is Nick. It's Nick's. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Cause she's only been out of Gilead not a year, actually. Dang. Dang. But time has passed within the series. So anyway, she's trying to escape, but Luke had beat the man up to the point where I think the man had died, passed away. So immigration was looking for him in Canada. She gets on the plane, boom, she's there. Who do we see? Serena Joy. Serena Joy. Lord have mercy. She can't shake her if she wanted to, but Serena Joy experiences a similar situation, not in the same severity, right? But she experiences a similar situation where she was housed with a couple and the lady was out of her mind in a similar way of Serena Joy. And Serena saw firsthand that like, hey, oh wait, I created a monster. So we think. And so she ends up running and escaping. I'm gonna be with you. I don't remember the ins and outs. So if you do remember, drop it in the comments. Like, let me know. Of who helped her escape. It probably was the Canadian guy. I'm almost sure. But she ends up dropping or ends up getting on the bus with her. So, you know, we leave off with them meeting on the bus. With this encounter, what's very interesting about June is there's a level of relief, but almost kind of like she's reminding herself, I shouldn't be happy to see you. So we can definitely see elements of Stockholm syndrome here a little bit, but she's also comfortable, and she's now known Serena Joy for years. And so I can understand where it's a very complicated relationship right now at this point. So they're on their way to Alaska, but they first need to get to a safe, not a safe house, but a safe community where then they can then go actually to Alaska. But of course, no one knows or is supposed to know who Serena Joy is. But then, of course, June is still recovering from her injuries. Like, she actually really should not even be on this plane, like on this train, but she is. And so her injuries are kind of starting to bother her. She goes and talks to a doctor, and the doctor realizes, or I think she drops her name or some, yeah, I think she drops her name, and the doctor realizes like, oh, she is one of the wives of the high ranking, you know, leader in Gilead. So that pretty much causes trouble, right? And, you know, realizing, and he's, you know, he tries to very discreetly be like, hey, I would not let your child hold her, which we do see June hesitating to let her baby be held by Serena and take care of Serena. And I thought that was very interesting because I do feel like now that Serena is a mom, June, has found like a soft spot for her in that motherhood. Like, I think she trusts her in a way because she, I guess, knows that when you're a mother, what's that? Wow, I can't speak. What that is. So in a way, I think that's the only reason why June is like allowing her, or it felt like she needed to protect her, or even just simply let her baby be held by her, to be quite honest with you. Cause yeah. But I feel like some way she finds a level of peace and trust in her being a mother as well, because now Serena knows what it's like to want to do any and everything for your child. So we definitely get that situation in throughout episode 1, where, you know, June is fighting that. She's very torn. Like, yeah, you shouldn't be escape. Like, you really should be able to go off easy and just live this life of peace in the way that you've tortured people and been a part of this culture. Because do y'all remember Serena Joy was very instrumental in putting together Gilead, because she wholeheartedly believes God's will and that she is in the right, because there's a lot of rebellion going on, right? And so eventually it's exposed, boom, she is Serena Joy Waterford, and now everybody want to kill her. They are, man, they like, because it is a situation of like what is really morally right and just, right? And how this world that is now created of the United States and in Canada, that what you would consider to be morally correct no longer matters, which and forcing them to give birth. So obviously, like, the bar is gone. It's not there. It doesn't exist. So in this situation where you thought that like people would take pity because she's a mom and she's trying to escape, that they would not want to come and attack her or hurt her or harm her and give her some level of grace. And even stand to a certain point that Serena and she, you know, is not a girl's girl, obviously, that they would in some way extend grace. But baby, when I tell you that crowd was on her and that little baby, I said, hold on. Wait, like they did not care. But I mean, that goes to show you how much trauma and pain that they have inflicted in Gilead, this entire system. Hey, Natalie. Oh, she's gone. But how much pain they have inflicted in this. I mean, hey, I really can't critique that. Like, I really can't shame them for that because it is what it is. And like, so now it's really unfair for you to think that they should feel bad. But in that moment, June did struggle with, should I keep you safe or not? But again, I think the fact that they're mothers and she has kind of a heart for her, just felt like, okay, I'm still going to protect her, right? And that just really shows you, one, again, I think how Stockholm syndrome, but also even the humanity in June. Even when people do you wrong, you still see good in them and you still think it's worth fighting for or protecting in a certain way, especially as a woman, because she's a true girl's girl. Now is Serena Joy girl's girl? No, because in this moment you're literally about to be attacked bricks like your husband kind of was. And do you think Miss Serena Joy thought like, hey, and you know, like, say I'm sorry and I was a victim? You would think that Miss Serena Joy would do that. But it wouldn't be Serena Joy without, when she's pushed up against the wall, she is going to stand 10 toes on her beliefs no matter what. And I'm like, bro, that's one of the things that make her so interesting in such a dynamic character, right? Is she's just always gonna be on the wrong side of history. Like, you literally got a pinch of what these women went through, and you would think that that would make you realize, understand who men are, if I can say it in terms. But instead, you double down. The world needs saving, and I'm gonna save it. There was all of these women were going to hell, and my plan, it was my plan to save them and bring back unity and these babies, and it just got out of hand. But I'm gonna fix it. Serena, at least lie. Like, your baby's in your hand, just lie. I mean, this girl. I said, Serena, girl, like, she don't back down, and it don't matter what corner you put her on, she gonna stand 10 toes. She gonna stand on it, right? So June tells her, okay, you gonna have to jump off. You have to get off this train, and I'm not going with you. Good luck. You know, like, but I'll help you get off, but that's it. Because they wanted to kill her. They were going to kill her. They were. So she had to hop up the train. I still have a little bit of on, because how did you do that with a baby in your hand? It's crazy. But she got off the and we'll pick up, I think, more in the next episode on where she ends up going for a couple of months. But that was pretty much the bulk of episode 1, where we reestablish where are these characters moving and going in season 6. So here we see where June is less revenge seeking, less angry, trying to a space of healing, in a space of happiness, right? Where Serena Joy, as delusional as she may be, is aware that her choices and decisions that she has made with Gilead do have negative impacts. But because she is a full believer of toxic masculinity, she goes about it in a very weird, helpful way, like whatever, you know, in a way that she thinks is beneficial, but is it really? Probably not. So that's what we really we could tell with this episode we're going to explore in how their characters evolve. Okay, so if I miss anything in episode 1, put it in the comments, or we can pick it back up in the next recap. So that leads us to episode get to episode things about it. With seeing such a show with so much loss and grief, they did give us some reprise by the episode. Jude does make it to one of the safe. We see a lady calling and being like, "Hey, June, you know, is there a June Osborne?" And she is pretty much reunited back with her mom, and that was a really beautiful moment. I'm gonna be real with you; I don't remember anything about her mom. So if you do, feel free to drop. I don't remember, but it was such a beautiful moment. She finally gets a win. I think that's great. Shout out to, you know, TV production for giving her some win, giving us those small wins, because those small wins really matter, especially with the show so heavy. So it was a beautiful moment. And that's when we pick off with episode 2 of season 6 of Handmaid Tales. So while she's here, and I forgot where she's at, to be quite honest with you, but she's somewhere. Anyway, she's here. She's reunited with her mom, but they still have a very complicated relationship. Prior to Gilead invasion happening, her and her mom weren't in the necessarily best place. Her mom was a professor, so I think they made those women naturally go to the. I don't know, they made her go. They did make her go to the colonies because she was a professor and a liberal, quote unquote, woman. But because she was a doctor, she was seen necessary, and then she was able to leave because someone did a revolt or something happened, and she was able to escape. So she's been there. So while she's there, they meet. They do have conversations about their relationship, and really focus and find healing. And so I think that's really important, because June is at a crossroad right now where she's going to fight the rest of her life to find her daughter, or is she going to move on and live and appreciate the life that she was to have? Fine, Luke. Moira's fine. She has a baby. She sees Nick occasionally, because let's keep it real. They always do this goodbye, and they're gonna see each other. Okay. She honestly, like, not lucked out, but like, she's been blessed. She really truly has. So I think so June is at a point where it's, do I just count my blessings, or do I still fight for the thing that I care about? Oops. Sorry, y'all. Oh, 1 second. Computer. Okay. I'm so glad I never watched the show. Yeah, if you never watched the show, it's very good. It's heavy. Warning. It is heavy. It is amazing. Absolutely an amazing show. So, that's where June is right now. And that's a very hard situation to be. I'm not a parent, I'm not a mother, but I can understand where, like, you have a child that went missing in a very traumatic way, and they've pretty much dangled this little girl in her face over the course of the years being in Gilead. So it just seems like torture at this point. So if she is to move on and live her life, new child, she has to find that peace. She has to keep going. And so it is a tough line and conversation of, should she leave her, or should she keep fighting, not keep fighting? Going back and forth with that. So it's a very, I think, is, even if she gets her daughter back, would, because her daughter has been gone so long, would her daughter even know who she is? Well, she knows who she is, but be able to acclimate and want to be with her at this point, because her kid should be like early, you know. That's the hard part too, is even if you could get her, would she go? She's not a kid anymore. She's had been influenced by them. So, you know, that's where I think June is at in the moment. Season, Nick made a deal with the Canadian officer. I don't remember his name, so if you remember, drop it in the chat. But he made a deal because he heard about June's attack, and he did go and visit June in the hospital. And so in order to do that, he made a deal with him to be information about different routes and leaders to help pretty much uh, and this consists of everyday people, not really military, with some Canadian background or backing them, but Canada is getting tired of it because there's been a society in that way. Yeah, people just don't love their neighbors like they should. And so, they're starting to get people are starting tired of helping, tired of supporting the refugees, Gilead, but also Gilead is making numbers. They have increased, dealt with poverty, and because capitalism, people are starting to mentally or morally change their stance on what is happening in Gilead. So we start to see that start taking place in this episode. So Nick meets with him and shares him information. And because at this point, Nick is pretty in high command. Like, he, I think, is over the eye, which is like security of Gilead and knowing what's going on. Pretty much their spy agency, I guess, right? Like a very colonial B613. Okay. Which will be important for later, but so we still have that dynamic where Nick is still involved. And Nick was pregnant. I mean, not Nick is pregnant. Nick's wife is pregnant, who is the daughter of another high-ranking Gilead leader, who I thought was, anyway, I'm getting him clearly confused, but we'll talk about that when we see him, because it's getting weird. Him. So in this episode, we also get Luke and Moira and hold on, let me get her name. Handmaid Tales. She is the maid, Martha, of the original house. So made it out. I don't remember when. Well, she made it out, I think, with the plane attack. Rita, thank you. Okay. So Rita is talking. They're talking with Luke and Moira, and pretty much Luke was detained for, of course, the incident that happened with the accident with June. And he was able to get out on bail with the help of the Canadian guy. This Canadian guy is really, really helpful. I hope he stays with the cause. Please, 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 please. But he was able to get out Luke from his situation. And Myra and Rita are there. They finally connect with June, so she knows that he's okay, he's doing well, and that he'll be out on bail. But his court date has been pushed back and extended. Usually that is not a good sign, because that means that you're giving the other side more time to stack evidence against you, because right now people are getting tired of refugees, like I just said. So they're looking for an example, they're looking for an excuse, they're looking for a reason to criminalize refugees. Parallels to what's going on right now. Okay. So they tell him the good news. She's made it. Yeah, there's not much there. We then now flash forward to where has Serena been. When Serena got off of that train, she ended up at a offsite, honestly, community home. Here she does have a time of reflection. Again, I don't know how much it really does or benefits her, to be completely honest with you, because you got halfway there, but I need you to completely have a complete thought. So she encounters it. It makes her reflect on her and her relationship with her dad, because she's a true daddy's girl. Within that, of course, I just have to keep it real. This is where the foundation of her being a believing in toxic masculinity comes from. So, like, she really wants, she's not understanding that if we're talking about being liberal and talking about how strong woman that she is, you can't, that in this society cannot exist together. And she has not realized that. And I don't know how many times she needs to understand and realize that. Because in order for you to have a society where men are leading or are put first, unfortunately, they're going to want to maintain that power structure. So women like her who have an opinion, who are, who have to get the gab, because she does. Okay, the girl's good at what she does. That when it's not benefiting a man, if it's going to bite her in the butt. So, and we'll get more into that when we recap. Made it to home. Like, about her dad. Here she meets with the lady who's over it, and the lady is her because she is, and really was trying to be like, hey, maybe what you did was bad. So, but like, you're such a powerful woman. We know who you are. Maybe you should use your good. Again, you would think understands and gets it, and like, still, he just can't sit by and let what she believed in be ruined by greed. And so we think, all right, Serena might be new. Serena might be different. Well, we have Brother Lawrence here. Brother Lawrence, we met past season. From him, we don't know if he's coming or going. Why he always is back and forth. One moment he's with you doing, know what he's thinking or where. These first episodes, Lawrence is a capitalist, and that's what it is, and that's why it is so back and forth. That's why it's so backwards. He is a true capitalist. He understands, like, he has a moral compass. He does, in a way, right? And I think he passed away when his wife passed away. But he does know that his wife hated what his idea became. So he does hate it, but he does not shy away from opportunity. He does not shy away from money. He does not shy away from attention and platform. He likes it. And which we'll see later, and I won't give too much away, but he thinks he can doing. So maybe we don't get totally, but if we make reforms, eventually people will see this is so beneficial that they won't want to operate in this gross, disgusting way that my wife despised. But because he's an opportunist and a capitalist, having that other people operate like that, and and the men are sick. So it's not that easy, and it's wrong. It still is wrong because people are traumatized, right? There's no cute way to talk about it. So what he's trying to do is he's trying to create the new Bethlehem, which is a more relaxed community, where previous survivors can come back, live there in order to deal with the refugee situation and reunite with their families. And they still live in Gilead, but it's more relaxed. People are having a more freer lifestyle. They now can be entered into the trade. Against humanity, and they can be acclimated back into this trading system and be a legit country. And so he thinks if he can create and establish that, then maybe eventually people will ease up on that, but also it would make the money to provide. And there are advances that they do have that make them favorable with other international countries. So in order to do that, he understands and he knows the power of Serena. Serena is deep in this. She's a high leader. She has influence. She knows how to talk because she was a big pivotal piece in getting Gilead off the ground. So he goes and he's already knew when she was. He goes and finds her and brings her this opportunity. And just when you think that Serena has like got it, and she's like, brings her this opportunity, and she takes it and goes, "You're right. So I just need to we can still do this. Like we can just there's nothing positive about this system." Oh, she just goes completely back to where she was and goes, "All right, I'm back in. But maybe we don't have to be as bad, but we still need to do this because they still need my save to do." My God. So Brother Lawrence comes, he visits, and she feels like that was a sign from God. Yeah. She goes with him, and yeah, that's what we see her happen. So, I think this picture, yes, is going into episode 3. So we'll quickly recap episode 3 because there wasn't a whole lot in episode 3. But what did happen in episode 3, which had what is happening. This is, I don't know, relationship with and I don't remember his name. Hold on. Commander. That's what they're supposed to be called. Commander. Anyway, he's a commander that we've seen throughout the series. Quite frankly, I thought this was June's daughter's commander. So if y'all remember which commander he is, I literally forgot. But he's a commander. Pretty much, he's the son-in-law of Nick. So they all connected, okay, in that way. He comes into town. He is a widow, and he's coming widower. Is that for male? I don't know. Anyway, he's coming into town to visit his daughter because his daughter's pregnant with Nick's baby, right? Um, but he, as we see, he's very smitten with Serena Joy. Very, very smitten. And it's weird. It's real weird. I don't know how I feel about that because for a lot of reasons. And we'll dig deep dive more when we get in episode 4. But here in episode 3, we see their plan start moving forward with Gilead. We also get more with Mayday. Mayday is a group, like I said, of everyday folks trying to revolt and get back at Gilead. But there's a real point. They're not professionals. They are not military. Gilead is like if the South wants to rebel technology on their side. That's the only reason. Know their land, know how to survive. Like, they're no joke. And these are unprepared people, right? Trying to back. So June is very skeptical, but she's happy to join. She's happy to be there. This prompts her husband and Moira to want to go and visit, because what we find out is we see her go and finally meet with Mayday as they go and plan on their high-ranking commanders and weaken them. Jesus Christ. June is very skeptical, though, because again, this is not a game. This is not a joke, okay? These people don't play. You can't think it, right? But Moira and Luke want to do it anyway. They want to get them back because I think it's the only thing they have to hold on to, right? Like, Moira will never, because she got out, she wants to help. She was, I believe, a social worker before this even happened. So she's always had a heart to want to help people. And Luke feels like he wants to do something because he's had to be on the sidelines for so long. So this is his way of feeling like he's a part of helping instead of being on the sidelines. Only good this series, to be real with you. Like, he listens, he understands. Yes, he gets angry, he gets mad, but he knows how to come back and apologize and listen and validate and step back and step up with women. Like, he's an example of a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. So they join while she's away with her child and get intel on these high-ranking commanders because they want to plan an attack, and they get stuck because it's a heavy patrolled area, so they don't know how to rescue them. And so he calls June and says, hey, you think you can convince Nick to come help them because Nick has been MIA, but we know why Nick is MIA is because they're trying to move on New Bethlehem, and his father-in-law is literally in town and doesn't really seem like he's eager to leave either. So he calls her and says, hey, can you convince Nick to meet you? Because we know he'll come and help. Can you get him to rescue them? So of course, June comes. What I found very interesting about this was I was manipulating him. I do. I think her feelings are real. We have to understand that there's been some time, but she was manipulating that man. She was. Okay. Very end of that shot, after her whole, why we keep telling each other bye, like, we're gonna see each other again, let's not keep doing this, I'm gonna see you. She knew what she was doing, and I'm not mad. Do what you need to do, girl, to get what you need to get. I'm not mad. I'm really not. You have that right to do that. So they go on the together. You're gonna manipulate him. You gotta make him in you, because the moment that he doesn't, y'all lose. So we're back center, and Serena is just talking it up, and it's because you can see the other countries desperate are for children because they literally like lose focus on the importance and the politics when a baby comes. Completely lose focus. And to where morality, which things that seem moral and just and right are now being questioned because people are now are desperate. And this is how their world has gotten, right? So it's very interesting to kind of see because I mean they all like got so distracted by that baby and it was just like, wow, is it really that scarce? Is it really like this? So when people get desperate, you know, things that they wouldn't necessarily be okay with and do, they're now okay with doing. So we see that start to shift, which is a very, very scary thing because it's like, are we all thinking it's okay to violate women? That's crazy. That's crazy. So again, yeah, we have Serena Joy. I mean, she's just performing, doing her best performance, and you're just like, so you learned nothing. Absolutely nothing. Like, girl, we're back here. Okay. But she is convinced in her head that she can make this a new and better place where women are still can have the freedom to, I guess, learn, but just to a certain point. Because again, the men not gonna be okay with that. The men are gonna stop her. And she's not understanding that, right? Like the more you read, the more you obtain knowledge, this level of oppression is not going to work, which is why they had done this to black slaves and why they're doing this to y'all. Which funny, my friend my friend pretty much called June the white Harriet Tubman. And that's kind of what she is now. But yeah, um that cannot exist. That can't exist. So she still has faith and believes in that. They're like, oh, we can still give you rule of law, but it's the internal battle with her for real. Like she doesn't get it. She don't think as Dr. Sam. Um yeah, the episodes. Oh, and then of course where they do their fake each other later, and she on playing him, and I understand. I mean, Luke isn't the Nick, right? But Luke is she. I feel like she feels like she should be loyal to Luke, and everything. I feel like she would feel guilty if she left and didn't want him anymore. So I feel like she feels obligated to want Luke, but I also think it is genuine because again, Luke is the only man who's a good guy and will stand on the things he says and does and genuinely protects her in a not in a harmful way. But I think she's having to learn to grow in love with him again because she's not the same person. She's just simply not. So we see this happen. I mean, he's super understanding, which I think speaks to how amazing Luke really is. But yeah, they come back, they get him from the mission. In this mission, though, Nick has to shoot some of his people and which can come back and bite him in the butt. So I think later on we're going to definitely see what the consequences are for that, but also goes to show you how much not Luke, Nick has changed and how he has that, killer instinct in him. And it's scary in a way because again, if she don't have a tight leash on him, he can absolutely rage war on her. I'm just and ruin blow up everything that they worked on. So yeah, it's very interesting. But these first episodes definitely set us up for what's to come in the season. Which is why I think they released them all at once because they're setup episodes. So we'll come back Friday and talk about episodes 4 through 6 because there is a new episode this week. So we'll talk about it where more stuff starts to happen. And yeah, so that's all I have for y'all. It was we jammed it, packed it quickly, very, very quickly, which was the goal. Okay. But we'll definitely be back here on Friday to further recap. Thank you guys for watching, whether you're watching back or watching on TikTok. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, sign up for alerts so you'll know when we go live, because it might you never know with me. It's always a surprise. So but yep, we'll come back and talk about it some more. Please leave in the comments what you think about the season so far. And yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.